On this, and this is on typical applications, most of this. It could be MUTCD basics, but let's start polling. Number one question, the area of a temporary traffic control zone that lets normal traffic flow resume is the 1, termination area, 2, activity area, 3, transition area, 4, advanced warning area, or 5, I don't know. So again, the area of a temporary traffic control zone that lets normal traffic flow resume is the 1, termination area, 2, activity area, 3, transition area, 4, advanced warning area, and 5, I don't know. Now we're up to about 59. Maybe we're going to stop there. And if that's true, by the way, that's pretty good. That means, whoa, we've kept a lot of our people here today. So we can't, so I'm going to stop and let's see what we think are the responses. Well, we can see that a large number of the people believe it's the termination area. None think of it as the activity area. Some think of it as a transition area, and some think of it as the advanced warning area. And I'm not going to tell you the answer, but I know that Brad will. Okay, let's look at our next question. A series of devices placed to move traffic out of its normal path is 1, a buffer, 2, a shoulder, 3, a taper, 4, an attenuator, or 5, I don't know. So this is a series of devices placed to move traffic out of its normal path. Is it 1, a buffer, 2, a shoulder, 3, a taper, 4, an attenuator, or 5, I don't know. And we're up 58, 59. Some people still thinking about it out there. Okay. I think that's where we'll stop, and let's just see what the responses are. Well, a couple thought it was a buffer, some thought it was a shoulder, some thought it was an attenuator, but the vast majority thought that it was a taper. And on to the next question. According to the FHWA MUTCD, the spacing of advanced warning signs depends mainly on 1, the highway type, 2, the speed limit, 3, the road surface, 4, the weather, or 5, I don't know. So this is according to the MUTCD, the spacing of advanced warning signs depends mainly on 1, highway type, 2, speed limit, 3, road surface, 4, weather, and 5, I don't know. So we got 55, 57, 57, 58. A little more thinking going on this one. I hope. Okay, here we go. We're going to, I guess we'll have to call it right. That's going to be it. So we'll see where we are. And 1, highway type, 2, speed limit, 3, road surface, and we can see that the majority thought that it would be that the spacing of advanced warning depends mainly on the speed limit. That's what the majority believe. Next question. And okay. According to the FHWA MUTCD, the length of a taper is determined by 2 factors. Oh, more volume, okay. According to the FHWA, the MUTCD, the length of the taper is determined by 2 factors. 1, lane offset and highway type. 2, highway type and road speed. 3, taper width and lane offset. 4, lane offset plus road speed, or 5, I don't know. That's a pretty complicated question. I think I'd just take I don't know and leave it at that. But lane offset, is it number 1, lane offset plus highway type? 2, highway type plus road speed? 3, the taper width plus the lane offset? 4, the lane offset plus the road speed, or 5, I don't know. And we've got 58 responses, so I'm going to get ready to close this one off. And that's going to be it. And let's see where we are. And here we see a little bit of variation here. A few for lane offset, highway type plus road speed, taper width plus lane offset plus road speed, and I don't know a few. And at this point, we're just going to let this write the data to the file. And then, Brad, you're on.
All right, here we go. And I have to confess, it's a little intimidating presenting this module to a bunch of traffic engineers who are much more familiar with this stuff than me, but we'll demonstrate the program and leave it at that. Let's turn this. Okay, so again, a module to teach some pretty basic information about a temporary traffic control zone, and we start simply with what are the basic parts. I can see my mouse on there. There we go. So we find out we have a termination area, an activity area, transition area, and the advanced warning area. So again, if with each of these pieces, there's your very basic component of it, but we can go into each one and then learn a little bit more detail about how each one works. And there we go here to the numbers. So in the termination area, we find out there are different aspects there as well. We know the termination area is the part that lets the normal traffic flow resume. So this is the very end of the work zone as we're starting kind of backwards and moving to the front. So the termination area would include a buffer space, both longitudinal, downstream taper, guidance signs, and there we see all the various pieces that we have. So as we've gone through each one, we've seen here's the longitudinal buffer space, your taper, your termination, and then your resuming to normal work speeds. So again, more detail on what is in part of that termination area and probably the more basic part of those various parts of the work zone. Now backing up to the activity area, again, let's go there and we can look at some more detail of what the program shows about. Again, what happens in the activity area? That is where the work takes place. And here's all the parts. You have your workspace, your traffic space, your buffer space, and then longitudinal buffer and lateral buffers. So again, we can look here and explain all those various components. And Rod, remind me if I skip anything that I shouldn't be skipping. All right, now get into the transition area, moving again upstream in the traffic. And we'll go over those basics. We know that the transition area moves traffic out of its normal path, has a merge taper, a shift taper, one lane, two-way taper, and then we can talk about each of these in a little bit more detail and even look at the calculations that go on. So here, if we talk into the merge taper, we can go over here into the table and the formula that shows how those tapers are calculated, and explains the formula down here where L equals the lane width, W the width of the offset, and S is the posted speed limit. So again, this is your table out of the MUTCD and explains how those tapers are calculated. So we'll go ahead and hide that table. All right, in the shift taper, similarly, we see that includes the shift taper is 1/2 of L. It's hard to stay up to the microphone and look at the thing. Okay, so here you have when one or more traffic lanes are shifted to the right or left to route them around the workspace. So that's where you'd use that shifting taper. And again, we can show the tables of how those are all calculated to assist people and workers when they're setting those up. And then finally, we can look at the one-lane, two-way taper and look at all the various aspects of these. Again, showing the tables and how those are set up, reminder there, and basic information on all that. All right. Then finally, we'll get into the advanced warning area of the work zone and talk about those various components. What is that advanced warning area? It tells the traffic what to expect. So this is the far upstream. So here you're going to have advanced warning signs, the various positions, and what signs appear in those positions. You may have a shoulder taper as well. And again, we can go back and look at all those tables and those formulas of how those are calculated. So I guess I need to close that table. All right. And again, you can look at those various tapers there as well. So Now we've gone through what are the most basic parts of the temporary traffic control zone, so now we can move on to a little bit more detailed information about those parts. And here we can go into a lot of information about tapers and different types of tapers. And again, I won't go into all the various information there, but as you click on each one of these types of tapers, and here's a merge taper, you can see that that's how it's normally calculated on L, and L is based on the road speed and the lane offset. And the taper distance spacing is based upon the speed and taper type. So here, you can actually do some calculations. Here you have a little speed limit sign where you can change the speed limits. And if you look down there at your formula, you're seeing that based on your speeds, you're changing your merging taper information and your spacing with your offset. And here again, if you're interested in what is L and how's your calculated, here we can go in and talk about how that L is calculated with your lane offset. And again, we can just adjust that to how wide your lane offset is. Change your road speed. And there you go. Sorry, I wasn't getting quite far enough through that. So there we go, where you can watch that and actually see the demonstration of how those tapers and those offsets are set. And so we see that the formula for L depends very much on road speed. And again, there's your tables. All right. Again, with each of these, we could go through and talk about all the different tapers. All that information is here. Just for the sake of time, we won't go through all those. But all that information is there, and it's kind of fun to be able to play with that and see how those calculations happen for you. Saves you time on your slide rules, I guess. All right, now we're talking a little bit about advanced warning and how far that advanced warning signs are spaced. And again, here we find out that spacing depends primarily upon highway type. So in this, we can select the type of highway type, whether it's urban, low speed, urban high speed, rural, or a freeway and expressway. Okay, and there we see that when we pick that type, it'll show you the different spacing of your traffic control devices, from 100 feet in urban low speed up to 1,000 feet speed. And again, if you want to see the table from the MUTCD that explains that, that's there as well. So again, it's dependent mainly not so much on speed as one might think, but more classified in the MUTCD by highway type. All right. Okay. There we go. Okay, so then again, how do you apply these principles? And we can go through and show then how these different principles are applied based on your typical application index. I'm sorry, I have trouble seeing my mouse. So, here we're looking at TA number 6. We're looking at shoulder work with a minor encroachment. We can then, again, pick our highway type. An urban high-speed roadway, as we adjust our speed limit. We're going to see the length of our taper and adjust types of signs and applications, all calculated for us based on your typical application number 6. And again, you can go back and change all these depending on your speeds, and you'll see those calculations take place. Go back to your original slide, you pick any different type of typical application, grouping, type of work that goes on, different type of shoulder, and it provides all those for you. So anyway, we continue to add more typical applications as the program advances, but you can see that there's a lot of great information in there that's going to help you calculate mergers, spacing of your traffic control devices, a lot of different information that is very useful that's all automatically calculated for you there. So here we get to do a little bit of a quiz for you, different from Rod's quiz. So this is just by acclamation, I guess. So as we come up here, we're going to start our little quiz, and this is built in, and this is easy. So, oh, you can punch it. Okay, so here we go. You can use your handheld devices, Ryan tells me. This is the transition area. What number does that correspond to? 1, 2, 3, or 4, which describes, or 5, 6, 7, or 8. So pick your number, and we will see. Now, how do I know what their numbers, how they respond?
Well, you'll see in a minute, I'll show you. Notice up here, what you're seeing up here, see 18, 5.
Okay, as you look here across the top of these, you're seeing that we have about 49 responses so far. Some of them, we have 23 people that have picked answer number 3, 5 people that have picked number 4, 14 that have picked number 7, and 4 that have picked number 8. So, we'll take our little thing, we'll drag it, and see, let's see. Those who said number 4, or number 8 was the correct answer. Nope, drops back down, you were wrong. We had by acclamation number 29, and it stays in place, therefore we know that was the correct answer. So those who picked number 3, transition area, is correct. So our next item, oops, I jumped ahead there.
Did you switch modules?
I don't know what I just did. Something just happened. I clicked probably on the module there instead of the.
Okay, so you're going to have to go back. There you go.
There we go. This. Sorry about that. All right, now let's go on termination area. Let's vote. Which number does termination area correspond to? Look at the arrows on the road to see which way traffic is moving. That helps. All right, 56. All right, most people chose, and this is a little bit confusing because we're looking at different numbers, but yes, the correct answer is, most people chose 51, the termination area. All right, we'll do just a couple more of these. This is the explanation of what goes on, and that's, I think, what is confusing some folks. Oh, yeah. 1 is the name, 2, the ones on the bottom are the definitions. So that's why I think it's probably a little bit confusing early on. It also helps, there's a clue here, you look at the color of the background, whether it's yellow or kind of orange, that'll give you a little bit of a clue, but at least which piece of it goes. So this is let's traffic resume. So this would be in the bottom side, 5, 6, 7, or 8 is the definition of, rather than a name of an area. As we're looking here, I see 2 have picked number 2, 44, yeah. Most of you are getting it there. And then, yes, that's how it works. So we'll do that. So anyway, we could go through this whole quiz, but I think in light of time, we'll just move on from that, and we'll turn it time to Rod to do the post-quizzing and see if we had any changes in our learning curve.
Okay, so let's do our next question here, which is our first for the post-test. The area of a temporary traffic control zone that lets normal traffic flow resume is the 1, termination area, 2, activity area, 3, transition area, 4, advanced warning area, or 5, I don't know. And so we've got our 53, 55, 55, 56, 57. Okay, I will stop it right around there. We'll just stop there, and let's see what we've got. Termination area, almost predominantly everyone picked that answer, and of course that is the correct area. It is the area that lets the traffic flow normally resume. So then let's look at our next question. This is a series of devices placed to move traffic out of its normal path is 1, a buffer, 2, a shoulder, 3, a taper, 4, an attenuator, or 5, I don't know. So this series of devices placed to move traffic out of its normal path, is that a buffer, a shoulder, a taper, or an attenuator? Again, 1 is a buffer, 2 is a shoulder, 3 is a taper, 4 is an attenuator, and 5 is I don't know, and we're at 59, so I guess I will call it right there. We'll just stop there and let's see where we are. And again, the predominant answer is taper, and of course taper is the correct answer in this instance. And this brings us to our next question. According to the FHWA MUTCD, the spacing of advanced warnings depend mainly on the 1, highway type, speed limit, road surface, weather, or I don't know. So remember, this is for the advanced warning signs, and it depends mainly on what? Is it 1, highway type, 2, speed limit, 3, road surface, 4, weather, or 5, I don't know. And we've got about 59, 60, so let's stop right there and let's see what we got. And we see even here we have still some confusion that's coming out of this. How many are going to, let's hear some kind of a call. How many are going to vote for highway type? Okay. And how many are speed limit here? And who wants to explain? Who wants to stand up and defend their position? Tell me, let me have a highway type person. Okay, well, highway type is, it is the right answer. So, all right, and now I'm supposed to speed it up. Let me get moving here. And so let's take the next question. And 4, according to the FHWA, the length of taper is determined by 2 factors. 1, is it the lane offset plus the highway type plus the road speed? 4, the taper width plus the lane offset. 4, the lane offset plus the road speed, or 5, I don't know. So again, according to the FHWA MUTCD, the length of taper is determined by 2 factors. Lane offset plus highway type plus road speed, taper width plus lane offset, and 5. So we're 54, 55, 56. I'm going to be calling it very quickly here because I've been told to speed up. So that's where we will stop right there, and let's see where we are. And again, lane offset plus road speed. And that, of course, is what we're really talking about. And next, 5, last question. Is there something that you learned here today from this program that you will be able to use in your job? 1, very likely, 2, somewhat likely, 3, somewhat unlikely, and 4, very unlikely. So this is again to help us, to give us a final opinion of what you saw in the program, and I will stop right there. Let's take a look at what it is. And we've got a good percentage who say very likely and somewhat likely, and it looks like probably some of the same people before who did not find would not find this valuable. Let me write the data to the file, save it, and then what we're going to do is just take a look at our summary for this, and hopefully we will be able to see that. TA Basics. And here's where we started out pre and post. And you can see that in general on the question 1, a large percentage, did get improvement here, got improvement here, and we still have a large percentage of the people who find the program valuable. Okay, I'm turning it back over, I guess, to Omar.
You're going to
Which one are we doing?
save driving.
Oh, safe driving.
Ok, otra vez yo. Bien, me dijeron que tenemos que hacer la lección número 2 en español, así que por favor pongan atención, ok? I just said that we're going to have the lesson number 2 in Spanish right now. It's going to be like a 45 minutes Spanish lesson right now. No, I'm just joking. We just have to, I don't know about you, how to catch a plane at 2 o'clock, so we're going to just be brief on this. And I'm going to focus mainly on the features because you got the CD, so you can go over this. And as you can see, it has a lot of like information in it. So I would suggest you like go over and then find out yourself. Myself, and I've been working with developing this, I'm still finding things every day as soon as you keep like going through the program. And slideshow is fine. So we're going to talk about safe driving, and first, how do we drive safely? So that's like, you can see all these shows, but like we're gonna just skip some of these points. Like many workers die driving to from work, and this is actually like safe driving is for like workers, drivers, our workers on our sites. And what I would like to show, because I know pictures or clips which would like explain better. Like number 1 over here, can you click number 1? Great. You can do head injury first, or like, and it shows you the video clip. As you can see in this video clip, it's kind of raw, but like that will work when you're doing your teachings, like how and why do you have to use your seatbelts? Because in this case, as you could see, and then you can show the other one as well. Again, these are great tools when you're like doing your safety toolbox talks, or you just want to make a point on your classes. Was it just so like and describing how a driver or any passenger without using your seatbelt can actually like hit against each other or the front of the windshields, and your trainees will actually absorb better what you're trying to teach. So we can keep going, and it shows you like don't talk on your cell phones. Oh, that's a great one. Who doesn't that one? The main like technology, as we can see, it can help us a lot by creating this great material as well. But also technology right now with our cell phones and texting and things like that, we should like be a little bit more conscious of like how to use them and when to use them. And in this case, it's just like you can also use this tool to teach some other audiences on safe driving. Don't drive if you are drowsy or drunk. Don't speed. Go out for below posted limits and slower in bad conditions. Can you check the next slide? And it goes on. How do we drive safely? Driving to from work. More safe driving tips. Buy vehicles with front and side airbags. ABS brakes, drive with headlights, drive defensively, avoid aggressive driving, map out roads, and you can always just keep going and going and going. And remember always the Spanish language feature as well, in case you have a Spanish audience speakers. Cómo conducir con seguridad, conducir a la obra. And then if you want to use your voice, you can always hit a little voice. I don't know if this one is working. We need to catch a plane, I think. Okay, next. Yes, please. It's working now. So, ¿qué deben recordar los trabajadores de los... I be your speakers in this case when we don't have any speakers available. So, ¿qué deben recordar los trabajadores de obras de caminos? Los trabajadores de obras de caminos se enfrentan a peligros especiales de conducción. And then you can always use these features to, if you have a staff bilingual, it can help teaching this. What should road workers remember? Road workers face special driving hazards, construction vehicle operations. Keep cab clean if you're an operator. Keep all windows, glasses clean. source all cargo to prevent it from striking the cab. Be careful changing lanes. Keep a safe distances from vehicles. Back up. You can always do this like line by line or the whole slide, and you can always stop and explain. Is that the last one? So that's the last one of the slide of like safe driving. And next. Gracias.
See. Well, I think we've come to kind of the end of our story. We need to make sure that everybody has a CD on the way out that Emmett and Lisa et al. Have been and Beth have been handing out. I think if you have want anything additional or need more, leave Brad or someone one of your business cards. We will, in due course, have version 10, which will have even more and better. But the other thing is, please leave your remotes, your devices. It won't work on the hotel television anyway. Won't work on your DVD players. It's all programmed to this one system, so you might as well leave it with us. With that, I think this concludes our presentation. We thank you all very much. A few of us will be around if you have any questions, but at this point, class is dismissed, and again, we thank you.